Jalen Hurts. He's now had 5 different OCs in 6 seasons as the full-time starter, with Sean Mannion taking over now this year. And Hurts is already turning heads in camp, especially with his legs. He looks faster than ever. And even Pro Bowl defensive tackle Jalen Carter has taken notice. Here he is on Hurts speed.
Chased him down a couple times where he be moving. Like, I don't know what it is, but when I'm watching him, I'm running. It's like a movie. I feel like I'm going slow, but he be moving, man. He's been working hard, and he's the one.
I don't know how the Eagles' offense or defense or anything with them can fly under the radar, because I feel like we're constantly talking about them. However, I feel like not always in a positive light. Kevin, do you think the Eagles' offense is maybe flying under the radar, and how good they could potentially be?
I do think they're flying under the radar. Jalen Hurts wins a lot of ball games despite any circumstance thrown at him, which is Evan Cohen's #1 test of a good quarterback. So if he doesn't say Jalen Hurts is impressive here, we're going to call him out on it. Having said that, I went to practice 2 weeks ago. I saw what this offense can look like, and I liked it a lot. There was a lot of things, whether that's motion with Mekhi Lemon, their rookie, who obviously is going to have to carry a huge burden with A.J. Brown gone, and kind of what that looks like Devontae Smith will carry most of it. But when I looked at this offense, a misdirection, putting linebackers in conflict, I thought it was so cool. There were so many things that the Eagles are missing last year from a scheme standpoint. I think there were instantly, first week of practice, installed in Philadelphia. I think Jalen Hurts is going to use his legs more effectively. That kind of waned as the year went on last year. I think it's going to be a bounce-back year for Jalen Hurts. And I did a rant a couple days ago. Eagles fans are telling me that I'm the king of Philadelphia right now because I defended Jalen Hurts. I'll keep doing it. He's going to have a great year, and that team competes for a Super Bowl again because that's what they do in Philadelphia.
Did you just voluntarily bring up that you're the king of Philadelphia, Kevin Clark?
I check my Instagram DMs. They're great.
Okay.
And that's what they said. You're the king of Philadelphia.
Not LeBron.
I was going to say,
LeBron right
I think
now.
LeBron might have something to say about that.
LeBron or Kevin Clark?
It was a good 3 weeks for LeBron, and it's over.
Now it's your turn.
The hype is over. I don't know what to tell you guys.
So, yes, I do think the Eagles' offense is flying under the radar. I happen to love Jalen Hurts. You know why I love Jalen Hurts?
Because he wins?
He wins football games. Isn't that the point of the exercise? As Chris Canty on Unsportsmanlike always says, what is the point of the exercise? To win.
You play to win the game.
Right. So what Jalen Hurts does, the reason he's flying under the radar and that offense is flying under the radar is I believe that most believe he's not that good. And I believe he's great. In fact, I've picked him, and I will continue to do so, for MVP this year. Because MVP is based on 3 things: individual success, team success, and narrative. And the narrative is there because A.J. Brown is on the Patriots, right? That's the narrative part of it. The team success has been there every year, basically. He's been the starting quarterback. And I believe guys like Harry Douglas, character guys who are part of a team, would say, I want to play with that guy. Because I don't know if he throws the best ball at all times. I don't know how he is over the middle. I just feel like he's going to lead us to a win, and that's the most important thing. And it seems like, you were at practice, I was not, that Sean Mannion is going to call more plays with him under center, which I personally despise the shotgun. I like quarterbacks under center as much as possible. I like the back to the defense. I like play action. I like when the defense doesn't know what's coming. And Jalen Hurts has proven, in my mind, to figure out ways of winning. And if Jalen Carter, who's awesome and just got extended big time, Harry, is telling us he's the one, he's faster, he looks different. So now you're telling me a guy that's been to the Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl, been runner-up, if I'm not mistaken, at least top 5 in the MVP a few years ago, is now looking better than he's ever looked before, and he gets to the line of scrimmage, and he could look for anyone. He doesn't have to just look for Julio Jones or Roddy White. He could look for Harry Douglas too. And that's the I'm not making fun. I'm
Don't
saying,
make me feel good now.
Yeah. It's a good setup, right? Like, I set this up before he destroys me. But the point is, look at the field, hit the man who's open. People are absolutely overlooking that Eagles offense because most don't believe Jalen Hurts is good.
Now, I would say this. The offense being overlooked, is that a bad thing right now?
No.
Like, that's not a bad thing when you talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I would say this. When you talk about Jalen Hurts looking faster, slimming down a little bit, I think that's because of how the offense is designed. I talked to Matt Ryan when Kyle Shanahan went to the Atlanta Falcons, and he said, man, you got to be in tip-top shape because you got to make sure on the outside zone, those stretch plays, you're able to get that football out there. You're on naked bootlegs all the time. You've got to make sure you have the correct depth back when you're dropping back, whether it's a 5-step drop or a 7-step drop. All these things warranted the quarterback to make sure they're in tip-top shape. On top of when it's time to play 11-on-11 football, which a lot of defenses, when you're dealing with a pocket passing quarterback, you can play 11-on-10 because you're not worried about the quarterback. Now Jalen Hurts, in the utilization of his legs, that's going to be a factor not just out in the open field on 3rd and short, 4th and short, but also in the red zone. Here's what I would also say. I would get Philadelphia a grace period if it doesn't look right early on because there's so much nuance within this offense. You just lost a number one wide receiver in A.J. Brown. Devontae Smith, I'm not worried about him being a number one, but you have a new pass catcher in Dontavian Wicks. You have a new pass catcher in tight end Eli Stowers, and then also Mekhi Lemon. All these players have to get acclimated to the offense. It's not like you have 2 or 3 guys that are learning a new offense. You have an entire offensive unit learning a new offense. And one of the things I do know about an offensive unit, well, on defense, you can have 5 guys not do the right thing and the play still be successful. Offensively, it doesn't work that way. All 11 guys have to move in unison and be on the same page. Otherwise, the play will be derailed. So it's okay that the offense is flying under the radar right now. I don't think it's a bad thing.
I can't be in agreement with that for this reason. I can't be the same guy that sits here and says Jalen Hurts is going to win MVP and he's going to be awesome from the get-go and give a grace period. I can't be accepting of that because if I'm going to be the person that has come on here and said over and over again how good I think Jalen Hurts is, how much this offense is going to benefit him, not having a number one in some cases does help a quarterback develop a number one guy that he create. Now, Devontae Smith is going to be that, obviously, but I can't then say, well, don't worry, slow start. No, they got to get off to a fast start. He has to be one of the reasons why. They have to utilize the tush push more. It's the most unstoppable play, arguably, in the history of the sport. While you are logical and sensical in every piece.
And that's where I'm coming from, Evan.
Right, but we have the king of Philadelphia
I'm coming from a logic situation, right?
The king of Philadelphia will run Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts out of town because along with the Seahawks, if you look at the last 20-plus years in the NFL, only 2 teams have become interchangeable at coach and quarterback and won multiple times with different coaches, different quarterbacks, different eras. It's Philadelphia and it's Seattle. They are more than okay moving on from coach that has won a Super Bowl. We've seen it. They're more than okay moving on from quarterback that has won or gotten to a Super Bowl. Well, I would disagree with that situation. If they are bad early on or it takes time to develop, the king of Philly over here will run them out of town.
Well, but that's not going to define how the season plays out. What if they have a slow start?
Philly, though.
But I understand that. That's why at times you have to ignore the noise. And I know it's easier said than done. But who gives a damn if internally you have people on the outside bickering and complaining about the offensive system and how slow it's coming along, but then in the middle of the season and the end of the season, you hit your stride and you're right there in the thick of things.
Well, but 2 years ago, the Eagles looked adrift at mid-season, and they won the Super Bowl. Remember those radio interviews and all that stuff? The A.J. Brown winner?
Well, it was the bye week.
Yeah, that was
they went to the offensive coordinator.
Season, and they turned it around and won the Super Bowl, and had the most dominating performance in the history of the Super Bowl against a team in Kansas City whose floor was the AFC champ. There's been 1 year since then, and then they've made big changes. Listen, I agree with you. The Eagles have fired better coaches than Nick Sirianni. They fired Andy Reid, who changed everything about that organization. They fired Doug Peterson 18 months or 24 months after he won a Super Bowl because they didn't like his answers about what he was going to do to his staff. There's always pressure. That's the tax you pay, I believe. Ownership and Howie Roseman give you a great roster, and the tax you pay is you have to deliver every single year. That goes for coaches, coordinators, everybody on the roster. But what I say is that they're not going to say, because of that, they're not going to say one bad month defines the season. Quarterback whisperer Bill Belichick once lost a game 31-0.
You're not listening to what I'm saying about that.
That's where I'm coming from, though.
Let me say something. First of all, this is a team last year that had the highest 3-and-out percentage of any other team in the league in terms of on offense, okay? They struggled mightily. A lot of people love A.J. Brown. He looked inept at some times on that side of the ball. So did Jalen Hurts, if we're being completely honest. If they have a slow start out of the gate, when you could argue that's their easiest bunch in their schedule, like to start the season, the Eagles had the Commanders, who might take some time to get acclimated as well, considering the season they're coming off of. The Titans, the Bears might be a tough out, but still, nonetheless, the Rams, the Jags, and the